Good evening and welcome to another edition of that Millwall podcast, Friday Night Live. It's Friday. We do have a game tomorrow, which we'll get into in more detail. I am joined by the man who hasn't been around for ever and a day, Jay, but he has been around on Twitter causing absolute carnage, as always. Make sure you do like the video and go from there. So, Jay, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm proper back on my feet now, so I'll be back in the fold a lot more. So now I'm good. I'm hot, as I'm sure many of the chat is. Evening, everybody. Yeah, we've got some stuff to talk about now. It's getting ever closer, ain't it?
It is. It is getting ever closer. So we've got obviously the new announcement of the new goalkeeper coach. We've got a couple of players. We've got obviously the rumours, and obviously. I think firstly we probably need to laugh at Palace, and yeah. So we'll go through obviously the goalkeeper coach. We'll go through the preseason friendlies as we go to Spain next week, and we obviously know who the second one is. And then we'll look at we'll talk about Wrexham because obviously that's been wasn't going to be a surprise, but that's been picked for international viewing, shall we say? And then basically go through everything else briefly on a bit of obviously Gordon Jago, etc., and then just have a look through because obviously you haven't been here since some of the players and whatnot were being announced, so we've got that to discuss with you and everybody else. So oh my God, StreamYard's moved everything around, made it slightly bigger. So everything what was in neat places is now all over the place. But anyway, without further ado, we will hit the intro and we will see you in about 50 seconds time. So make sure you press that like button so that we can get those numbers up. See you shortly.
Language you don't usually hear on television. Millwall in London's Dockland.
No one likes us, but we don't care. We're that Millwall podcast. Loud every Friday night right here. Legends like Jimmy and Abdul take a share in the kitchen or two. Super Neil Harris a fucking legend too. Through the good times and the strife, we support the Lions all our life. This ain't no place for fancy feet. This is fucking Millwall through and through. Located on our very own John Pedersen way. Let them all come, let them have their say. Millwall till we die. With that Millwall podcast, loud every Friday night right here.
Good evening and welcome back. This is that Millwall podcast. We are Friday Night Live. If you're new here, make sure you do subscribe. If you're on Twitter, hello. If you're on YouTube, make sure you press the like button. If you're not seeing this before, we are a live interactive show. Your comments come straight through to us, and you will see your comments come up on the bottom corner. Oh yeah, you've missed that now, Jane. You haven't been here. So we now have a new feature where when people comment, the comment comes straight up on screen, and then we just highlight some of the ones we want. And then a bit later on, we'll come back to them and we'll revisit them. And it's just an easier way, as you can see. Yeah. So it's all on there. The best intro on YouTube. Yeah, no, I think you're right there. So okay, let's start with Palace. I think so we can laugh at them. 2004, we were in the FA Cup final. We come second. But we got a place in Europe in the Europa League.
UEFA Cup, wasn't it? Then
no, it was still.
Was it Europa League?
UEFA Cup or was it Europa League?
I think it was UEFA Cup. I'm sure it was Europa Cup.
Either way,
they changed
we were there.
Didn't they? Yes,
we were. Yes, and we were there. And obviously, those of you who believe in karma, I think karma's come back and gone, Leon finished higher than you in their league. You finished lower than them in the Premier League. You get conference and Leon get Europa League. And and subject, obviously, to appeal. And what makes this even better, Jay, with Karma, was the day we played them was the day for the deadline of them submitting the backstory because of the dual ownership. So, you know, when you can look at it and go, they never actually thought they were going to get to a final. They beat us, and then all of a sudden, okay, maybe. But the day was a deadline. We had Steve Parish come out, do what he did. BBC do what they did. Okay, it's all done. Evening, Matt. Matt, if you want to come on, mate, more than welcome. Just drop me a WhatsApp and I'll send you the invite. Because you'd be good to come on and talk about the goalkeeper coach, maybe. And yeah, so 1st of March, they didn't submit, and because they probably didn't think they were going to do anything. Roll on now. They won the FA Cup. Loads and loads of cheers and yay! And now you're in the conference. It would just be sod's law that they'd probably go fucking win it, like like Vermin did. But hey ho, your thoughts?
Yeah, I like to think we had a big part to play in that with the ruckus. What followed that game? Maybe Parish was too busy, going after us as a fan base, as a club, going after our players to even think about sorting his own house out. He rather criticised ours. It is quite a bittersweet. There is a bigger picture here though, where football in general, and I might get shot down in the comments as well. I laugh at Palace. It's great that it's Palace and fuck them, but football as a bigger picture is going to look a lot different after this. This is a big decision from UEFA. When you've got clubs like Manchester City who break the rules year in, year out, and you see the smaller clubs like your Evertons, your Forests, and now Palace get punished, it does pose the question of the money talks now. Palace thought they was going to be all right. They thought that the person that in question who had equity in both clubs wasn't the decision maker. They was told well in advance, as you said, they had to balance all this in March, that what the rules and the protocols were. And they fucked up. And fair enough.
That's it. I mean, UEFA multi-club ownership rules state that their investor, John Textor, also had a stake in French club Lyon. UEFA financial control body, another one for Omar, the CFCB, ruled that both clubs breached the multi-club ownership criteria as of March the 1st, 2025. The outcome, Lyon finished higher in the league, in the Liga 1 than Palace did in the Prem. So Lyon takes precedence for the Europa League spot. Crystal Palace, this is where it gets interesting. So Crystal Palace admission to the Europa League have been rejected, and they're now being moved to the UEFA Conference League 25-26 instead, obviously subject to appeal. But Nottingham Forest finished 7th in the Premier League, are now set to take Crystal Palace's place in the Europa League. And that could be very interesting to see. Nottingham Forest, most people last season at the beginning of the season thought they were going to be relegated, and they'd done well. They were fucking bang up there most of the season, like the top end most of the season. And obviously now, potentially, they've stolen Crystal Palace's place. So there's going to be a new rival now then, isn't there? Palace versus fucking Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, potentially. And, the Nottingham Forest owner, he's kind of in the same boat a little bit. He's in the same position as Texan at Palace. He has multiple hands in multiple pies. It's interesting that the report that Nottingham Forest submitted a claim to the FA of illegal tampering of Morgan Gibbs-White from Tottenham, and very, very quickly it was then announced that you're playing in the Europa League now. It's almost like if you just let things go, we'll give you this sort of thing. The corruption, you could just smell the corruption. This ain't the end of it. Palace have got the right to appeal. They will appeal it, obviously, and the full outcome of this is going to be really interesting for teams like Man City, Chelsea, who've been told they've got to balance their books.
I think
It's
Craig Jones has got
carnage.
the comment. Craig Jones has got the comment of the night so far. I think Tyler Bury in the Champions League, Palace in the Conference League.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Tyler Bury to show us what we're missing, though.
No, that's
still
it.
Waiting for it.
No, that's it. Steve Chilton, yeah, that is Omar, mate. Fucking giving me abuse. So yeah, it's
he's feeling all right. Then we
we
know he's all right if he's giving abuse.
Yeah, I think he's out partying. So yeah, bless him. So
many tequilas watching the Cortinas the other night. That's what it was.
I can't drink fucking what do you call it last night. I went to a nice pub last night actually. I don't know if London Bridge, there's a pub. I think it's called the Dog and Boot or the Boot and Foggarts or something. It's called, right? It's like a Davies wine bar, and I went there for work to see someone on that, and it was like it's a very it's like it should be a Mayfair pub. I'd say it's like proper like bods wearing
like a yuppie
white shirts. It's not really yuppie, but it's posh. Do you know, it's sort of. Yeah. It's not the place you go for a pint of ale. It's the place you go for a bottle of wine and sit about talking and all that sort of place with nice food and all that. I mean, it's a massive place, but it was dead as hell. And the fella went, "Oh, yeah, it's a bit warm in here. Do you want to sit outside?" He took us out into this little courtyard out the back, mate. And yeah, we sat out there for hours. And yeah, it was an expensive evening, but it was good fun. It was, customers and whatnot. So yeah, no, it's I think it worked out about 17 quid for 2 bottles of Peroni.
Yeah, oh fucking hell.
It was a killer, but it's nice. It's been a good week. So yeah, I think Matt is going to join us shortly. So we'll leave off the new goalkeeping coach, I think. For now. Oh no, maybe we won't then. Maybe we will bring Matthew on stage. There we go. How you doing, fella? You all right?
Evening, chaps. Yeah, good.
Evening.
Yeah, we're talking about going out and bistros, and I'm getting rather thirsty now. So it's. It
was nice though. It was really nice, and also last night because it was like a courtyard, not a beer garden. So it was like in the middle of buildings and stuff. So it was nice and cool. And yeah, you just that first pint in it when it's so hot, and you just sip that first pint, it just goes down so well. And it was literally because we went up to Hayes Galleria first and sat in the pub on the river there and had 2 pints there, and it was literally as soon as it touched you, it was like boff. It was just hot weather and beer, mate, is just what it is. So yeah, good luck to all those gone to Spain, mate. Hopefully you don't get too burnt. It's knackered. So. While you're here, Matt, we might as well pick you up on this to a degree. So the new news this week, obviously, Dean Thornton is the new goalkeeping coach. Who is he? He's joined us from Southampton, where he spent 2 seasons in the same role. Before that, he coached at Swansea, MK Dons, Swindon Town, and even started his coaching career at QPR's academy at just 19. He's got a wealth of experience working with keepers, allegedly keepers like Rob Green, Julio Cesar. In the past, he's already spoken to match. Is it Crombie?
Crocombe.
I'm going to go Crocombe. There you go. And he's keen to get Lucas Jensen back on the pitch when he's fit, and a fantastic addition to Alex Neil's staff, alongside obviously Martin Caning and our ex-player, who's the fucking David Livermore. That's the name I'm thinking of. So, Matt, do you know him? What's he like? What you heard?
If I'm honest, no. All I know is what the club announced. Obviously, he's got a really good track record. I mean, he was at Southampton. I think that's the biggest coup. Is for him that he's working with McCarthy at Southampton, which personally I rate really highly as a goalkeeper. And he was with Southampton when we took him up. He's also played with was at Swansea as well when they were going through a good footballing renaissance. And I think really it's actually a really good appointment from names that were bandied about at the time. I think, yeah, it's a really good appointment for the club, and I think it shows intent as well, where he's obviously got a style of football that he likes. Look, if he's come from the clubs like Southampton and Swansea, for example, where they do like to play out the back, so I think that's the route that potentially we're going to go down in terms of the goalkeeper is going to be more playing with his feet, more distribution. We all know already from the YouTube clips that Crocom's got a wicked right foot distribution. We looked at last season, back in the last season, George Evans also has got a good distribution, and Jensen, when he comes back, will also be good. So I think that's the pathway we're going to go down. But a bit about him, not really as much as I'd like to, but it's I think it's a good acquisition based on his history.
Jay, you look like you're auditioning for a male strip routine.
Fucking
Magic Mike,
I wouldn't
you know what I
get
mean?
many. I wouldn't get
Going
many
off your
bookings.
guns,
Won't get many
sweating.
bookings, I tell you.
You know what I mean? I'll tell you what we need is hopefully this video will attract more ladies and we get more Millwall ladies on. Do you know what I mean?
Fucking turn them away. That's what it do. No, look, I agree with what Matt said. I think it's really interesting the way that he does coach his goalkeepers, even at MK Dons when he was there. Very fruitful football teams that like to play it for the back, like to get control, draw teams in, and then hit you on the counter. He's been involved in a lot of free at the back sides where the goalkeeper acts as a full centre half. We know that Alex Neil really desperately wants to go with a sort of a 3-5-2 variation of, and I think this is just an appointment that enhances that, like Matt said.
Do we? Is that what you want?
No, that's just, we know he's paid 5 million, but we paid up to an alleged future fee that could reach 5 million for Coburn. We've got Ivanovic, so a good partnership. He tried a similar formation at Plymouth. He said it was too soon. And I think he's brought in players, or going to bring in players like Kramer, who is basically, he's like a poor man's John Stones. He can sit in the centre. He can play even as a central defensive midfielder. He's bringing in players that can play out from the back, and also coaches now that can coach players, goalkeepers now, to distribute from the back, not just have the ball at their feet to lump it long, but to see a pass short and things like that. So I definitely think it's an avenue that Neil is going to take us down in pre-season. We'll probably see it, but I like everything he said. He spoke to Neil and Cannon and Livermore. He's fully on board with what the club want to do, what Neil wants to do. This is a good hire for the stability, for what we want to do. I think it's a home run. He's been at some big clubs at the time that he was at that was successful, more to the point as well, and played really good defensive football and attacking football. So yeah, I like it, especially with the names that were floated about, as Matt said. I think this is probably, a big home run.
No, I agree with you. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be an interesting season, especially when you start looking at players we're rumoured with, or you look at the players what have coming. It's not just. I tell you what. Before we go into players, I'll tell you what looks as if we're actually going for intent is the pre-season. Normally with the pre-seasons games we have Dartford, because it's contractual. We have Sutton. We have fucking Bromley, etc., Gillingham, etc., and we have all of these sort of clubs. But this year, I mean, we've got Crystal Palace tomorrow behind closed doors, which it's an absolute shame that it's behind closed doors, because we would have fucking ruined them, especially after the news today. We absolutely ruined them tomorrow, and hopefully we get a win for it. You can watch it. I think you can watch it live on stream anyway, can't you? So there's a benefit. But you think we've got Premier side tomorrow. Monday we've got or Tuesday, isn't it? Monday or Tuesday we've got Northampton Town.
Yep.
And then Friday we've got Elche. Elche. And they've just been promoted back into the Liga. So they are now in the main Spanish league, which is basically the Spanish version of the Premier League. So again, you're looking at them and you're going, okay, they're all right. then we go through it and go, okay, we've got obviously Bromley, we've got Sutton, but I think those teams are a mix, aren't they? Like a Millwall 11 as such. I think they're not the main team as such. I don't think. They're normally a mix of under 21s, etc., etc. And then the final game is against the top Portuguese side, which is what, GD Estora Praia.
Yeah, GD. Yeah.
And you just think it's just.
I don't know why people get hung up on pre-season though, Mick, or at least the teams that we play. I really ain't interested in who we play. I'm more interested in not getting injuries, in seeing styles of play develop, seeing some cohesion and fitness. Yeah. I'm not interested in it. We could fucking play Cray Wonder. I mean, me, you, and Matt were at the Cray Wanderers game. I'll be happy to play Cray Wanderers every game if it meant the boys are getting fit and we. I know I was there. Sorry. I'm happy just if the boys get fit and we don't get any injuries. That's all I want to see. I don't get hung up on it. It's good to have some hot weather training. Most clubs do that now. So going to Spain is great, but I don't care who we play.
I mean, it looks as well that I've seen bits and pieces that Kevin Nugent was saying that that the under-21s are going to Spain too.
Good. There's a lot to sort out in this squad. And I think the lack of transfers isn't because I think Millwall is sitting on their hands or Gallen on the board or Neil sitting on their hands. It's you've got to look at the players that we've got. The starters are already there. Aziz, Negley, Ivanovic, Tango, Coop. These are all starters. We don't need to do what we did last year and overhaul the squad. Our problem at the end of last season was the depth with injuries that we had that made us fall off. And I think that's what we're going to have to build on this year. But I don't. We've got players that need a pre-season. You've got Kevin Nisbet back, Massey, Kelly. These are players that are going to get a look in before we dip into the market first because we need to see what we've got.
No, and also we've got players, what are coming back throughout this season. I think that, and also I think the problem is with the window, because this summer window is open for so long, you sort of, there's no point shooting your load at the beginning when you're probably going to pay over the top. I can understand why we probably went in for Coburn and why maybe we paid, with the add-ons and everything else, we paid what we paid, pure and simply because, if someone did come in with a ridiculous offer, I don't think Mihailo's going, but if someone come in with an absolutely ridiculous offer, the club would probably take it. I mean, someone come in, when I was saying ridiculous, I mean, someone come in and said offer £20 million for Mihailo now, you then don't want to be looking for a striker towards the end of the window because that's when the prices will go through the roof. So I can understand why you want, but even with strikers, really, when you start looking at them and go, we got Mihailo, we got Coburn, we got Lovelace, we got AJ, we got Longtaff, we've got Nesbitt. You're just looking at it and just going fuck me, we are starting to get, a lot of players in a lot of positions now. Still think we need maybe a centre back, right back, maybe a keeper, an experienced keeper, and probably someone in midfield who can run with the ball.
Yeah,
because I think we've got players what can run without the ball, but have we got anyone who can run with a ball?
No, I think also it's good for the 21s to go because I think it's going to happen throughout the season where we're going to rely on some under 21s to step up, at least be on the bench, like we saw at the back end of last season with Matthews was on there, like your Alfie Massey's, being around the first team a lot more in that sort of environment. You build that cohesion better as a club, and I think you're right. We do need a couple of signings, but I always like watching the under 21s, and you pinpointed the pre-seasons. Like next week is Maidstone away, and I'm going because I enjoy watching the youngsters play. I know they've got Welling as well, so there's a couple of nice local games that the kids are going to go and play. But you'll see some good players there that could potentially break into the, I won't say starting 11, but at least match day squad. And you see what future brings. I mean, Kamal Grant is another one. I think he gets overlooked a lot. I've not heard his name mentioned at all, and he's been on loan a couple of times at Bromley. And I think is that the step up as well for him. I rate Kamal Grant a lot as a right back or a right wing back, and I think if he was a lot more around the first team, I think you'll get a stronger player. And he reminds me a lot like a very raw. Who was the lad we had on Arsenal? He was in the under-21s.
What, Jay Simpson?
Oh.
No.
No, the right back. He was in the under-21s just now. He reminds me a lot of him. He was at Arsenal, on loan with us, went to Italy.
Oh, Coffee.
Can't think of his
Cuffy,
name.
yeah.
Cuffy, yeah. He reminds me a lot of him, and from a defensive side. But maybe there's an opportunity for him, and it's a good chance for Neil to see him because he didn't see any of him last year. So it's good that the 21s
No, that's it.
or some
I mean,
of them, most of them, are going out to Spain.
But so I agree. I don't think you can rely, but I think last season, and this lot will sit there and fucking take the piss because I have it every day in the chat. But I think Longtaff needs to be given a run. Jay, you're the one who turned around and said fucking about a legend who Omar absolutely adores. You called him a great League One player, not a fucking championship. So you can't fucking sit there for me,
actually, I said his main productivity came in League One, and if you was to put his stats up without seeing the player on how good Neil was, you would say, "Oh, that's a League One player based on his stats." That's where that confusion came.
I don't think it was.
I think Longstaff is. I like him. He's he's wiry. He's awkward. He can cause some problems. I just don't think this level's for him. This is the biggest preseason for him, because if he can't, he's not the number one. He's definitely not the number two. If he's fighting with Nisbet for that number 3 spot, and I personally think that whatever one of them doesn't get that number 3 spot, the other one's out the door. That person's out the door. Or could be out the door.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, but the trouble is they need to play Longstaff to make sure that his price don't drop.
Yeah, and I think you'll see him and Nisbet play together. I really do. I think Nisbet looks incredible. He looks really fit. He had a prosperous end to the season. I know it's only Scottish football, but he was fantastic up there in the season. Won their Player of the Year. He's, Neil's Scottish. He's Scottish. You got to look for anything that you can get to give you a leg up in a positional competition. And if he can sort himself out, we've seen Nisbet can score goals in this division, and he's a very, very good finisher. Nisbet was still the best finisher in as a player for Millwall, and he wasn't even our player last year. He's still the best finisher at the club. I'll die on that hill. Kevin Nisbet's a better finisher than Ivanovic. He's a better finisher than Coburn. I think Ivanovic is a much better instinctive player, and can score from anywhere. But Nisbet's finesse and finishing is absolutely unbelievable. So reason we brought him here.
Do you agree with Jay on that one? I mean, get in the comments, let him know. Obviously, it'll be good to see your comments there. No, I get what you're saying. I think you're right what you said about pre-season. I think pre-season is probably going to be our most important pre-season ever, because I feel that the intent around the club, and I mean I've said it for years that I've never felt that we've actually wanted to make that final push, and I don't think we did. I think it's wherever it was, the old people what were here were it was too much money. There was a lot of investment, because you used to always get, when you were close, you get the Premier League surveyor or the Premier League people come down and look and go, all right, well, you need to do that and that needs to change. So, if we got to the Prem, there probably is going to be a 15-20 million pound investment needed to make some alterations and stuff. But you think the hospitality area is being done up, and it's being done up a lot. I thought it was just the current area was being done up, but actually all the office space, what was on the first floor, is now gone. And that's basically now going to be the whole of hospitality. So literally the windows at the front to the windows at the back, all of that, all the way along now is going to be hospitality, different angles of hospitality. So that's a huge investment. That's a huge commitment. And then you look at what's going on with the team, and you look at what's going on with the players, what Gallen are bringing in, the way that James Berylson seems to be doing stuff, the way that actually Mark Fairbrother come out with his interview and other bits and pieces. The fine was low. It just seems as if everybody seems to be on the same page and we're running down the same line. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to sort out. And like Matt said, he likes to go and watch the under-21s. I think we're going to see a hell of a lot of them in even not just in Millwall 11s, but in the main pre-season games for the first team, because we've got a massive squad. I think we've got over 32, 33 players at the moment. Some of them have to go. Now, whether that's Neil uses that as pre-season to say, look, this person's on trial, see if they've got a future at Millwall, or it's some go out on loan, some are fighting for positional worth. You've got fringe players like Longtaff and Mark, who's dropped down the pecking order now, that I've got to fight for a position, because if not, they'll have to go, because we all want to bring extra players in. We do need some more players in a squad of our size. People have to go out the door if we're going to make that happen as well. So it'd be interesting to see. I don't think you'll see much of Ivanovic. I don't think you'll see much of Coburn, Tanganga, because why do you need to? You know, I'd rather them get fit off the field and not risk any injury, and see and give us the opportunity to see what Dan Kelly's got, see what Nisbet's got, see what Imarku's got for Neil and the club to make those decisions. Matt, no.
As I said, get the youngsters involved around the first team environment, and then let's see what they got. I think any manager would love to see every player available for him and let them have a game, 2 games, possibly even 3, and then see where they're at, not just physically but mentally. I think going back to like the chat about Longstaff, here's a question: did he actually settle? Has he settled okay down here? Because obviously when you're from Midlands or up north, you have to up sticks and come down. Or settling down here a bit of an issue that maybe.
I think Coburn was key for that, Mickey, wasn't he? He's like really close mates with Coburn.
Yeah, I think he's close mates with Coburn and that. Yeah. And I think that a few times he went back up home, seen family and stuff. But no, I think he's settled. I mean, let's be honest, I would quite happily settle down there if I had a flat in Canary Wharf too. But because it seems most of the players live over there. So yeah, I mean, I think that's probably it. I think the problem is as you know, especially with like keepers and strikers, it's a confidence issue, and I do think that, whether intentional or not, you think that you teamed up with a striker who back then, the current manager back then didn't rate, and yet obviously now everyone seems to rate him. That we were winning 4 games on the trot, 1-0 each game. Okay, weren't great, but we were winning. To then suddenly take them both off and put an injury hit Welshman on, kind of done him any favours.
The thing is, though, he's got some attributes about him. Like, if you go back over the previous strikers we've had,
Welshman or
no, what about Longstaff? If you look at what is his main attribute? If you look at the best strikers we've had, you look at Neil. Like Harris was so intelligent. Like what he lacked in pace and raw strength, like his football brain and his intelligence was second to none. That's what set him above the rest. You look at Morrison. Morrison was, he had that aggression about him. He was a bit more physical. He would take risks. And Gregory was very much like Harris as well. He had a good footballing brain, but Gregory's movement off the ball was absolutely Premier League level. That's where he got a lot of his goals come from, his movement alone. So they've all got these attributes. Ivanovic you probably put him down as a really instinctive, unpredictable striker. It's probably his best attribute. What is Longstaff's best attribute? Because, Neil spoke very highly about how he can finish. We've seen him, he's quite quick. He's got a lot going for him that people have said and that you can see, but he can't put any of it together. Even in the run he did have when we was winning them games, he wasn't really the main contributor to us winning them games. All right, he got the assist you got an assist or 2, I think, but he was in large parts missing in them games.
No, I get that.
What would you say his best attribute is? If he was to put it down, like Harris's brain, you got Gregory's movement, you got Morrison's aggression and fear factor. what is Ivanovic's instinct and unpredictability? What is Langstaff?
I think he's just. I think he's one to. He's a troublemaker in that box. He can disrupt that box. Do you know what I mean? He can get the ball. He can run it. He can hold it up. He can, allow other players to get in. But I just don't know whether or not we're playing him in the right position or if we're playing him in the right way. But again, we could sit there and say what we want to say. It's down to Alex Neil how he sees and where he sees him fit in is the way that obviously they can turn it on.
What about you, Matt? What would you pinpoint it down to? We all, people that play Football Manager and FIFA, I'm going to dumb it down a bit, but each player has an attribute. Do you know what I mean? Even clubs, when they search for players, we're searching for players with certain attributes that fit Neil's system. We know Neil's brain was fantastic. It's why he was so successful at this club and in football in general. We know about Morrison's, like I said, his aggression and Gregory's movement. What is Langstaff to you when you say, I need a striker, here's the attribute I want, and Langstaff would pop up?
Well, I mean, I can even go back to Teddy Sheringham. He wasn't blessed with pace, and he had the best brain, footballing brain I ever can imagine. I mean, he was absolutely amazing. But with Langstaff, at first I think he tries. He's a try. He's a bloody good try, and he puts. I think he does put all his efforts in to make. That he wants to try and he'll go in the trenches for you and really tries to work his bollocks off to get something. I think when he first came, I think the hype of the amount of goals he scored, and I think that might put a bit of not a fear factor in opposition defenders, but put a little target on him so that he would then have to make those diagonal runs to pull the defenders away. That gives the opportunities for the players behind to run on. But what I thought, and I think it was the Luton home game when he was put through 1-on-1 and he missed it. I think in some cases he tries to make those runs looking for a ball to come through, and I think there's an element of trust between sort of like the players that want to feed him the ball and himself, and the trust and the belief that he's going to finish. He does make those runs. He does get into pockets of space, but I still think some of the players on that team was like, well, how do I'm not 100% sure that you're going to finish because of
100%
things like the one-on-one at Luton. And
I was just going to say, I think that's the one, Matt, that Luton one. I think they've seen that and gone, that's
but
it,
way before that. Yeah, but I think way before that, I think you had players like I think Watmore, I think Saville and other players. Just you just look at when he's in loads of open space, they just didn't pass to him, kept the ball pass. I mean, there was a few times where if you look back over the games where he passed back. Just let me say one thing. Bazza and all that, as I said, all your comments, by the way, now will come up on screen. We've got them on a bigger version on our end, what we see. We're highlighting different bits and pieces, and then we'll come to those in a little bit, and then throughout the show periodically we will just come to them and raise, and we'll come to them shortly on some of them. So I'm not answering your question, Baz. We will come to them in a sec.
It is interesting with Langstaff, because like you said it there, Matt, like how's he going to feel? Like, his goal record, and we was all really buzzing about it. And then not only that, he's got that on his shoulders anyway. And then Millwall's all-time top goal scorer, probably biggest legend the club's ever had outside the Belson family, or certainly on the pitch, starts hyping him up as being better than he was at finishing. He's got that on his shoulders as well. And this is before he's even kicked a ball for the club. And it's like, it's hard enough to make a two-tiered jump as it is, not without all them parameters. And someone like Neil Harris says you're a great finisher from how Neil Harris used to finish with his instinct and his footballing brain. It must have put a bit of an apple in his throat more than, I know for me, it would have probably made me a little bit more, fuck, I need to perform now, than it would have given me a kick up the arse to go, he's got my back.
That's it. I mean, when you go to any club, really, they're trying to sell you the dream. They're trying to sell you, this is what the club wants to be. This is what you can be. And you go, imagine if you're going to Millwall and you're going to say, right, you're going to Millwall Football Club, 2 divisions up from the goals that you've been banging in for Notts County in the conference, or whatever it calls it nowadays, in League 2. to come to a championship team, arguably that could be fighting for a top 10, top 8, even potentially top 6 that we were last year, finish. That's pressure number one. Then you've got the all-time Millwall goal scorer as your manager. That's number 2. And then to say him, I mean, don't get me wrong, for what Neil said, saying like he's a great finisher in training, that should give him a bit of confidence. But on the flip side, the amount of pressure he's under now, because it's gone public that's what Neil said, you just think, bloody hell, no, I've really got to step up. And I think that's definitely going to have the weight on your shoulders, because it's. I mean, I sit in the upper tiers, but you're the fans at the front. You can hear them. Like if you miss a sit or you miss a chance, you're going to get someone or some few of you that are actually going to like slaughter you for some reason because you've missed, and that's going to put even more pressure on him. So I mean, don't get me wrong, the poor fella needs a good pre-season, and I'm hoping he's taking him a season. Arguably, he's been injured as well. Let's put that into context as well. He's been injured. A chance for him to like really establish himself down here as the Millwall's potentially the next number 10 or whatever, and have a good bit of good competition now, especially with the quality that we've got. And I said, he was competing against like Bradshaw, who I think he had his best season when Fleming was here, and then that was it. But now he's got bigger fish in his pond, so to speak. He needs now to grow to become that big fish, and I think it could potentially happen. And it's just I always get excited now, and I think he will. If he has a good preseason out in Spain, I think you might see a different Langstaff. Fingers crossed.
I hope so. He's definitely one on the block for me. Imarku's another one who's probably on the block for me. They're probably the big two this pre-season that have to put out. I know it's pre-season; it's really hard for a player to cement himself anywhere. But all it's going to take is for Langstaff to nick a goal, perhaps, and have a half a decent game, and this bit not to bag. And then that's it. That's decision made. That's what it's going to come down to.
There's been a lot of comments on Langstaff. Where is it? We've got there's a question for you in a minute there. Matt, it says Charlie Stoworthy says Langstaff is a willing runner. Wait there. And then obviously, good evening, Kevin from Canada.
Hey, Kev.
Royston says you don't give Langstaff the ball, which is very, very true. We spoke on that. Gaz Line says we need to get the ball into the box for Langstaff to thrive. Royston says, everything bypasses Langstaff. You just can't do that. Yeah.
I think that's right. I think Langstaff was a victim of the system, because in a Neil Harris side, you had to be disciplined and you had to work hard before you even got on the pitch. And with an Alex Neil side, there is a bit more of a technicality side of it. There is balls into feet. I think you'll thrive more in an Alex Neil side than being a runner, just a higher press man in a Neil Harris side and hit on the counter, even though Neil did try and adapt to that. But
I just have to do this for 1 second, Jay, just for this comment.
Right said
for the Daily Mail. The right said Fred tribute act. Yeah. There we go. You see,
right said Frank.
That's it, innit? So yeah. Dese says on Langstaff, tries aren't going to cut it this year. That's why Head Down Duncan, Honeyman, etc. were shown the door.
Agree.
Kevin from Canada says Langstaff is not good enough at our level. Simple, but he's had lots of time to prove. I don't necessarily think he has. I don't think he's necessarily played, plus his injury. I think he needs, I think probably a good 10, 15 games, maybe across pre-season as well, just to see how he gets on.
I think he's had quite enough minutes. I'll put a tweet out a while back about his minutes and his output, and I don't know if I don't think he has. I mean, look, he made 36 appearances for us last season, right? 14 of those were starts. We started 14 of those. 22 of them he came off the bench. 13 of those were around the 75 minute, but 9 were after the 80. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. After the 80th minute, it's extremely difficult, probably under the circumstances, to make any impact on the game. 75 minutes onwards, I think that's sufficient time for a player to have some form of impact on the game, right? So he made 36 appearances, okay? And you could argue that 26 of them were sufficient enough minutes. He got 1 goal and I think 2 assists.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
Just obviously, Matt, I know that you've got to shoot off in a minute, but just one before you go. Do you think that we need to, I think we are, but do you think we need to look at another keeper just as a loan, just to have an experience there until Jensen's back?
Yeah. I think it'd be good to have a goalkeeper at least on a 6-month contract, at least to January, a freebie, just to cover that third spot.
Would you dip into the loan market, Matt, like a young keeper?
No, he sounds silly, and I don't know if anyone agrees, and I might get pelters, but I'd go for someone like a Scott Carson, just someone like that, or just someone who could just come in, bit experience, help these guys out. Angus Gunn, I mean, yeah, 100%. He's going to be someone who's going to have a bit of experience, and just fill the hole more than anything else. That's all they're going to do. Maybe play in the Carabao Cup against Barnet / Newport, and get some match fitness under their belt. But I definitely would get one more. Don't say that George Evans don't deserve it, because I think he really does. But I see George go out on a loan to a League One team, definitely. A good League One team, not one that's going to be absolute dog shit. But I would like to have someone on a short-term contract, definitely, just to fill that hole until Jensen gets fit. I mean, as much as Jensen is recovering and the rehab's really good, nothing takes away from being match fit as much as anything else. So he's got to get up to speed, especially as a goal.
I do as well, though. I do as well think that the club have to have one eye on the future, because Jensen injury is really bad. He's progressing well, but an Achilles for a goalkeeper, that is not good. That is not good at all. So he may not come back. He may not even come back fully. It's a bad injury.
Oh, it's a terrible injury. Yeah. I mean, the Achilles is not like an elastic band. It's like a piece of rope. So exactly it's like you tear that, that's fused, and that's going to be that's not going to be 100% at all. I mean, it's like having a hamstring. Like, you tear your hamstring, you're never going to be at that speed, but obviously it's a bit different in this.
No, I'll get that.
His tendons. He's going to take a long while, and fingers crossed he does come back. But it's a long. He's still a long road to recovery.
No, that's it, and so that's it. So well, thanks very much for coming on, Matt. I know you've got to shoot in a minute, so if you're going to go, you go, or just go when you need to go in a minute. No dramas at all. That Daily Millwall wants to know, if anyone in the chat, what you got. See you later, fella. What you got on the auction, if you did do it, then get in the comments and let us know. Baz, where's all the money coming from? Well, the money, I think a lot of it is, I think the hospitality side is probably to deal with a deal with the new onboard catering team, to be fair. I think there's probably something within them now that they're running it all. And obviously, what you've got to look at is that they want to make as much money as possible, because Millwall obviously won't make all of it, but they'll get a percentage, same as they do with the club shop. And I think a business like them are in the remit of going, well, if we invest X, we could then potentially earn this per match. And if the deal's over so many years, then, it's going to be a return on investment for them. So I think that's probably not actually cost Millwall any real hard cash. The fact that we sold Fleming, the fact that we sold SA, I think has brought money into the club. massively. I think there's a few other bits and
big contracts
pieces.
as well.
Releases some bit. I mean, a lot of the players who we come on to in a sec, who, a lot of these gone. We talked about it the other night on the show when we did last week or the week before, where, realistically, you're probably looking at, it's probably a couple of £100,000, probably £5 million worth a year. I reckon probably £3, £4, £5 million a year's worth of wages, what have gone, where, you can then look at investing that into other players or investing that into other angles. But the fact that we've never really sold like we've sold, and yes, I know that it doesn't come in instantly, but within the football world, there are companies like the payday loan companies as such, or those, within your building, within your own business, you have the invoice payment companies. So, you do get your money, but I think a lot of the stuff that's going on at the club isn't necessarily being funded by them. I think Kelmont is having work done to it, and I think that that's going to be an interesting thing going forward, because once that starts looking a little bit nicer and better, they've already had the pitches done, they've invested some money into there. I think that would do us no harm. Kent, I don't know what's happening with that. I think there's probably the regen stuff will probably start moving soon. They'll probably do that with a partner and make some money there. So I think the fact that they're focusing heavily on the pitch is superb. I mean, who is it? I think it was Steve Chilton said, does anyone know how many players Millwall have let go this summer? So, I mean, let's have a brief look in. But I think who have we got? So obviously
It's around 12, isn't it? Including some of the youth that left.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Zian Fleming we knew, but he's been, obviously it's now, because it was a loan, that's now official. Murray Wallace, George Honeyman, George Saville, Liam Roberts. You're looking at a few of the youth, Duncan Watmore, Aaron Connolly, Sean Hutchinson, and a few, the loanees have gone back, etc., etc. I mean, yeah, there's probably there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 there, not including some of the under 21s and stuff. So you look at it and you go, there is a real intent of, we want to go Daily Millwall, we seen that. George Long's
I started that, yeah, it's great, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, if you just start what you want,
I'd rather play sweeper keeper, mate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, don't forget even, I mean, look, Connor says, we got Mayer as well.
Mayer's one, I think, sadly. I mean, I'd love to be proved wrong, but Mayer for me is in the camp of he's not going to cut it. He didn't really do anything at Bromley. He was quite a bit part player at Bromley. I just think, again, the level jump. He did come on in the cup, didn't he, against Dagenham and Redbridge, and he looked like a fish out of water. So again, he's another player who's got a big pre-season.
I mean, Jay will back it up that I am like with Danny Mack. I think that, I think Langstaff is there. I'd like to see more of him. I mean, I bang on about, I get so much dog shit abuse in our group chats because of my loyalty towards, Danny Mack and Langstaff. But,
Langstaff, yeah, but not Danny Mack. Yeah. We all love Danny Mack.
B Lion has said, look, I think as a team, we weren't creating enough chances to judge the type of player Langstaff is. His speciality is taking chances and scoring goals, and we're only maybe create 5 chances per game as total. I mean, let me know on your thoughts on there.
Nick,
do you just sit there, huh?
That's the levels. I mean, League 2, they probably get 10, 15 chances a game. League 1, they probably get 7 to 10. As you move up the leagues, you've got to be a better player because the chances are few and far between because the defenders are better.
I think the problem you've got, I get that. I think the problem is that if you look at his goal records, you lie across, you look at him when he was in Gateshead, and you look at him when he was at
County.
Newport, not Newport, was it Notts County? And you look at them, and the manager there changed the way that he would always play. He's very much as in an all-rounder sort of striker. Is in he'll play back a bit, he'll get the ball and he'll run it in and pass. Is in Notts County, he was told you're the striker. Don't fucking run back with the ball. Just sit there, wait for the ball, and you're a poacher now score. And I think, that's what he's really good at. But the problem is he wasn't being used in that role with us. He was literally being used as in hold the ball up outside, bring the ball in, and then flick it onto someone else. So again, there is so many mixed messages with the players.
There is an element of the service as well. I mean, he had Jody Jones, who set the record for assists in English football, I believe.
Yeah.
And he's gone from that for someone who just wants to assist to Duncan Watmore, who can't see his hand in front of his face, and George Honeyman, who, for all George Honeyman's flaws, he was fantastic at pressing and doing what he was asked to do, but he just isn't a player who's going to pick that pass, or it'll be that instinctive. So he did fall victim to that as well when he found himself having to drift wide or having to try and pick the ball up himself. Cheers, Dan. But yeah, look, I'd love to be wrong. I'd love us to be wrong because I'd love Langstaff to flourish because there's a proper player there. But the competition is rife. If Nisbet can continue where he left off, he's a proper finisher. Ivanovic is, Ivanovic, and Coburn has proved, what he can do in terms of a partnership to Ivanovic and his hold-up play. So I think the glass is wet and he's trying to climb out, and I don't think he can. He's got to wait for it to dry. I think he's more out than in. Same with a couple of other players for me, but I'd love to be wrong. But it all comes down to numbers. Someone in that striker room isn't going to have a job at Millwall this season, I believe. And whether it's him or not, I don't know. I know two people it definitely ain't. I mean, you might keep him and Matthews might go out on loan. That might free a spot up for it, but he's definitely got to hit the ground running pre-season. Because even last pre-season, I remember when we did the shows last pre-season, we didn't really do anything pre-season. We didn't score many goals. The play wasn't that good. It was, we did struggle a little bit. It wasn't good last pre-season. So he's got to have a good one this time around, and I hope he does, because you see his Millwall TV put a lot of Langstaff. There's a lot of Langstaff on Millwall TV and with the training and stuff, and he's got a smile on his face. He looks ready. I hope he proves us wrong.
No,
deep thought there, Mickey. Aren't you?
No, I was just reading with Daily Mirror. No, he is. No, they're looking at doing. There's loads of. No, there's loads. I haven't gone back to them yet because I've got to undo things. But no, Daily Mirror was sitting there saying, obviously, on Millwall accounts in April they raised a load of cash, which is they do every year by just converting the loans into shares and stuff and puts money into the club.
You can't really gauge the transfers though, Mick, nowadays, can you? It's all done on Klarna now, isn't it? You can't really say, oh, this is the expenditure of the club this year, because that might be the expenditure of the club on undisclosed fees. That is going to be the expenditure from now till 2030, because that's when the deals are over off,
So Daily Millwall is giving us a list of the players released. So Millwall players released. Steve, fucking hell, that's a new one for us. Sean Hutchinson,
first teamers, one.
Murray Wallace, Duncan Watmore, Aaron Connolly, Chinoki. Is it Chinoki?
Chinokoli. He was the one the centre half we watched with Matt down at Cray. He was the captain.
Jamal Larson, Kyle Smith, Henry Hearn. Isn't Henry Hearn one of
we saw him at
Barry Hearn and that lot's nephew or something, in it, I think.
Don't know, maybe he was a centre forward we saw at
Tom Leah, Oliver Evans, Cavalli, Hayward, Atham Wadder. What's his name?
If Omar is still watching, he's probably
what do you call it?
Crying his eyes.
How would you pronounce that?
Ethan Wade.
It's Cavalli, isn't it?
Oh, Cavalli. What one are you looking at? Yeah, Cavalli Hayward. He's the one who hit that banger at Cray Wanderers.
And then Ethan.
Yeah, Ethan Wadey.
Yeah. And then Malachy.
I'm having a fit right now, Ben.
So most of these ones were all thingy, mate.
Saville's in there, obviously.
Abdullah. Luke, George Saville. Yeah.
There's 5 stars so far. There's more. He's gone on more, but 5 of them were first team.
Luke Roberts, Liam Roberts, even George Honeyman.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
7 of them are first teamers, not to mention loans that have gone back.
Just on that, by the way, Daily Mill, it will take more than 3 years, mate. Trust me. with the new building safety regulations, and they're running. I mean, I work within construction with sites. New builds do specification for new builds, and at the moment, mate, sites what due to start are running fucking 12, 18 months delayed. I think they'll do all the surveys and all that lot, and I think it will take a little while yet, mate. I don't think anything will touch the ground there in a little while, potentially, I think. And it's the same with all that going on round the den with renewal. I think that'll be another one. So yeah, Gary Bartholomew says we created chances last year, but our finishing was poor. Yeah, morning Spence or evening Spence. How you doing? Where is it? I hate loads of teams. I like Millwall though, and Glasgow Rangers. Okay, but you support Arsenal.
Strange one. What we got next?
I wanted to just, before we go in, I just wanted to touch a little bit, or I want to talk about Avanovic, the news will come out this week with Ivanovic, with an agent change. And I just want to, for those who, were moaning and groaning and go, oh, what's this? Look, him changing his agent affects absolutely fuck all. What you're looking at there is potentially he had a Serbian or Russian agent from where he was, and he was probably, he might have had a European side of it, what was helping. He's now gone to a more UK central agency, and that agency is probably going to be in a better position going forward. Do I think he's going anywhere in a minute? No. Yes, Palmer, I believe, come in and made an offer, and they were told, you need to come back with more, and they basically went, well, he ain't fucking worth more. So, as in where he's going, I think he'll be here for this year. I think if he has a blinding season, then I think potentially next season we could lose him for a lot of money. Jay, you need to put your light on again, mate. Like that, that's it. Otherwise, you end up going really dark. So yeah, I honestly, hand on heart, I'm probably 80, probably 90% confident that he ain't going nowhere this season. I think he's just. I think it is. I just think that he needs a full season behind him so that people can see what he can do, and then I think that will be it. Then I think potentially he will be off. But don't forget, we still got him on a 4-year. I think we still got 4 years left of him.
Yeah, we have. And look, I mean, the head loss around this announcement has been, and people who honestly, I fucking don't care who comes after me with this. Their head loss has been ridiculous. From
this week,
people saying, the club, basically people want the board sacked. They've ripped the season off if we sell him. People want the club to come out and make statements. It's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The agency he's gone to represent over 600 football players, right? Yeah. Only 100 of them, I think it's less than 100 of them, are considered tier 1 players. Right? He's gone to the same agency that represents a lot of players in League 1 and 2, represents Liam Roberts. He's not gone and signed with Fabrizio Romano and or the biggest agency out there to facilitate himself a move. He's just gone with the times. He was represented by, someone that probably can't meet the needs because he's in a bigger European market now. It's totally understandable, but his name has been linked out there the last few days and the last week with Palmer, various other things, and Fabrizio getting the name wrong again and putting it out there, and people lose their mind. We're not used to having good players, right, at this football club. This is what happens when you have good players at your football club. They get noticed, their name gets put out there, and there is links, right? Do you think Newcastle fans call for Eddie Howe to come out and make public statements out of the amount of times Isak has been sold to Liverpool last season? He was sold about 16 times to Liverpool and Arsenal last season, but no one lost their head over it. Honestly, we can't have nice things at Millwall because our fans just turn into utter fucking divs. And they want the board to come out and hold a press conference over the fact he's been linked with someone. The club have not said anything because there's nothing to say. He's going to be linked with players, with teams.
I think
It's
there's
good
been
for us.
so much. I mean, listen, I mean, realistically, some of the people what have been having meltdowns on social this week,
Major
if
meltdowns,
you're
Mickey. Not even a
if
little
you're
bit, though, mate.
listen, if you're friends with these people, I would probably go around and do a fucking a welfare check on them just to make sure they're okay and give them a cuddle, mate, because some of them have been, mental. I mean, shirts, fucking why is this, why is that, other bits and pieces. And you look at it and you just go, mate, when have we ever had a home shirt out before July? Never. And the fact that we're going to be getting an away shirt potentially out in July as well is unthought of within Millwall. It's I don't think it's ever happened, and then, moaning about, oh, well, that's got a paywall and all that. I mean, News at Den, their News at Den plus stories are, some of them are good long read stories, and they're great. Yeah, they put probably some of them there, but I think that's all changing. I think that it's not all going behind a paywall with it. But for £3 a month or £30 a year, I mean, let's be honest, you can't even buy a coffee in London for £3. So
Exactly.
especially now, as Richard Cowley's not a Millwall, not around Millwall. He's a Charlton boy now, and he's got a paywall. He's all behind, Subscript or Substack, so that he can make his money and get on and pay his mortgage and all that. Look, good luck to him. But I just think that don't fall into all this negativity, this fucking madness, and just look at it and just go, mate.
It's poor,
it is
Mickey.
what
I
it
mean,
is.
the stuff that we complain.
Just look at it and go, thank God. Look at it. We're going into a season where we're going, we could actually fucking do something this year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've got shirts coming out in June, shirts coming out in July. We've got a full level of pre-season. We've got fucking that investment going in. We sold players for big money. We've got this, that, and the other. It's probably the first time ever we're going into a season where we're going, mate, we could do this. And everyone losing their shit going, oh, we've got Palace behind closed doors. Palace behind closed doors, I would not be surprised if it wasn't part of the deal that when we sold SA to Palace, that while we done it, we just sat there cheekily and went, can we have a behind closed doors pre-season? Because we want to see what we're like against the Prem. And that's probably it. Did we see everything kicking off with them in the FA Cup? No, of course we fucking didn't. But it's what it is. I'm not going to lose my shit over it. Yes, I'd like to go because Palace is a funny day out, but it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, just
it is.
We're fucking Millwall. Don't forget, we are Millwall, right? And as Mark and everyone else has come out in interviews lately and said, no one likes us, we don't care. So why the fuck do we throw our toys out of the pram when it's not gone right? It's like, mate, really? There is a fellow on Twitter called Andrew, mate. You're a funny fucker, by the way, but yeah.
Yeah, he is. But it is, mate. Honestly, the generational head loss I've seen from people that criticise similar things from other people. So it's hypocritical head loss. It's just, man, over someone signing with an agency. The club do not. This is what happens when you have, like I said, this is what happens when you have good players. They're going to be in the news. They're going to get linked with big clubs. The club not coming out making statements. I'm fine with that. If there's nothing for them to say, what do we want them to say? Oh yeah, Palmer are interested. Go subscribe to Millwall TV so you can watch us say Palmer are interested. I don't understand.
Now you see right? Now you see that I can have. I'm more than happy to get into a debate with it, right? Even though Millwall is now bringing in fan media, and like ourselves. Nick Hart and a few others, TT, etc., and a few other shows what are being invited to do player interviews and that. We've got a special one this week. I won't announce who it is, but yeah, it's going to be worthwhile who we've got next. I think we're interviewing them next Tuesday. So next week at some point, make sure you do subscribe because obviously it will go out across all our socials and stuff. But we're starting to do more and more stuff there. If I was to moan, I'd sit there and go, I think there's too much stuff behind paywall within Millwall. And that's a valid, to me, that's the valid battle to do. £3 for, if you really want to watch, News at Den and News at Den Plus. I don't think that's a lot of money, to be fair. 50, 55 quid on Millwall TV to watch stuff what realistically you should be able to see, especially if you're a member, especially if you're a season ticket holder. But again, you're looking at it and going, well, Millwall's probably trying to make as much money as they can. So, Jay, I've just got this real image, and I can't get out of my image now, out of my head.
What?
Of you. You know the what's the Queen song where they're walking around with the Hoover? Is it I can't think what it is now. I'm gonna have to Google it in a minute. But just there where you're sitting back, where all I can see is the black top, which not really it looks as if you're wearing a frock, mate, and you're just ready to start doing. You look like I think it was Brian May, or was it Freddie Mercury dressed up?
About
Someone will tell us in a minute.
free. I want to break free. That's the one.
Yeah.
He's in the white. He's in the white. He's in a white top, not a black one. And he's standing in the living room and he's giving it all that, isn't he?
Yeah. People who are watching will know because it looks like you've got with your earphones on. It looks like that's your hairdo and whatnot. So
hairdo,
yeah.
I'm fucking. It's just gone, mate. My hair is. You're gonna see a different me when I come back from holiday because it's going. We will look like Right Said Fred.
Oh, there you go. There you go, B-Line. Thanks for that. It's a nice plug of one of our shows. If you want to see one of the shows we did called Utter Woke Nonsense, you'll find it on our channel where we just basically discuss what's wrong with football, from throwing drinks to, shirt numbers rather than the positions and stuff like that.
So having generational head loss over players being
that's it.
Players getting out of the shower.
So, yeah, there we go there.
What we got next?
Matt's back now. Let's face it, top players will be linked all the time. It'll be water off a duck's back. I think, look, right. Let me say it this way, just for he's signing shortly, mate. I think that's all done and dusted. That will be.
It actually come out from Rich as well as Will, that he's done. He's done.
Yeah, it's done. Think about it this way, right? How long, for how many years has no fucker in the media, and I mean no fucker, we're lucky if we could get someone from the New Shopper, talked about Millwall players. And now we've got some of the best European journalists as well as the UK journalists talking about Millwall players. So, you know what? Is it a bad thing?
No.
We're going down a new model. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to sell players the first season. But I do think that potentially we will sell players second, third season, because you're going to take the money while their levels are high. You're not going to sit there and hold on and do it, are you?
I think also you've got to get yourself into the model in the first place. So Zian Fleming, SA, they were quick sales so that we can facilitate the start of the model. That had to happen. We had to bring money in so that we could buy young players, etc., etc., etc. And that will slowly start to, like you just said, rightly so, slowly start to dwindle off, where we'll keep players for a couple of years and let them prosper a little bit, because we got the money in early to be able to tick this over. So yeah, it's look, we ain't gonna buy players and sell them 6 months later, because that doesn't do what the model says. The idea of the model, when it was stated that these players are going to be here to help us as well as help themselves. So they don't do that in a couple of months, And
I just want to come back to something with the paywall stuff. But yeah, Stephen Jeffrey, everyone's saying they trust the process, and then the next minute they talk about ripping up their season ticket. Absolutely agree 100%. With you there. The other problem you've got with paywall, or a lot of companies now going behind paywall, is because people are shit scared of AI. Basically, a lot of places now are nicking, using AI to basically scan the internet, just spider grab all the articles, rewrite them, post them as herself. A lot of the smaller, shall we say, clickbait sort of websites out there, they're nicking all these people's articles. So a lot of them don't want them out there being free reign. They just want to go behind a paywall as such, even if it's next to nothing and it's free as such, but it's there just literally so that they're not having all their stories absolutely rinsed. And that's the problem, is that there is a hell of a lot of that going on. I'm not saying, you should put everything behind a paywall, but I think stories what have been put a lot of effort in, then yeah, absolutely. So yeah,
I agree. Yeah, no, look, they got to make a living as well. At the end of the day, it's the newspaper industry or the news outlet industry has taken a massive tumble over recent years with the development of the internet and people just and freelancers and just inside sources and stuff. So it's good to have some old school. We saw the demise or the end of Suffolk News recently as well.
No, we didn't. We saw the demise of South London Press.
South London Press, not Suffolk News.
Yeah. South London Press.
Yeah, South London Press. Sorry, and
Suffolk
you
News
think
is news at den.
Yeah, I know. It's news. That's because I've got them on. I've got them on the brain. I've got them on the brain. But when you see that, it's like you don't really. You didn't care about it that much while it was going. It was you read the odd article or you picked up the old paper and you thought, oh, this is great, discarded it, might not read one for a few weeks. Yeah. But when it's gone, it's like, fuck, like we've lost that now. And it's sad. And, Suffolk News are doing, what's in their best interest. And, if people really do want the content, they'll pay for it. I've seen there's definitely been an uplift in people subscribing to News at Den recently. For various reasons, so I don't have an issue with it. I had this out with Max about Millwall TV. I had a civil conversation with Max, and it's understandable. It is absolutely understandable. And this year round, I don't know if many of you have done it, but with my season ticket, you offer it costs a little bit extra, and you can have Millwall TV plus for half price for the year.
Yeah.
So they are doing things. It's a cutthroat industry, and they've got to make it back where they can. So look,
I agree with
whole
that.
Different conversation altogether. But
no, that's it.
I'm firmly in their camp.
No, that's it. No, I totally get you. I totally get that too. So yeah, I mean, there's 41 of you who've pressed the like button. So yeah, come on, we haven't got long left now, and then we'll leave you alone. We sort of got a little bit wayward and went off on tangent, but yeah, we'll get there. So yeah, let's just see any more comments on there, and then go. Steve Chilton, if you didn't see the meltdown this week, just go back on Twitter and have a look at most of the usual suspects, and you'll soon find it, mate, and you'll see what's what. Yeah, I want to break free, Jay. Is I'm that late on the comments, mate. So yeah, everyone's sitting there saying, so yeah, look. You see, Chris Brown says, I can see Jay in a miniskirt. You look lovely, Jay. You see, that's
thanks,
what
Steve.
it is.
Steve's a nice bloke. I've met Steve.
Wolf whistles for Jay.
Thanks,
mate.
Steve. Connor, see you by the hot dog stand, Steve.
Connor, that geezer loves us but can't fucking spell our name. So listen, this is what I want you to do, right? Is that every time you post a story, right, about us going forward, just tag him on there and just go, that Millwall podcast said, can you spell Millwall correctly, please? And every time he does it, just keep doing it, because he.
Didn't you send him earlier and misnamed him?
Yeah. No, I didn't call him. Did I? I didn't.
No. You called. How would you like it if we called you Fabinho or something? Yeah.
Fabrice Roman.
That's
it. Like it if we called you Fabrice Roman.
Two people started jumping on that as well.
So yeah, look, it is what it is. Yeah. Daily Mill, yeah. Grox had a bit.
I'll tell you what.
People asking him, mate.
Mate.
If you've not seen it, have a look at Twitter this week, because there are the usual suspects on there, right? Who are always, chatting Mill stuff and everything else. But there's been a lot of people who have lost their shit this week.
Very feminine, I'm in touch with my feminine side.
It's madness. So yeah. That's a good question. Yeah, has anyone got Millwall mobile? Because I haven't. No, I wouldn't. But yeah,
I'll tell you what. That's an interesting topic actually, because I was talking with my missus because I looked at it because my contract's up soon. Well, I've paid for the phone, but I've still got the SIM, and they do a family plan. And I looked at the price of it. It's so cheap for unlimited internet, unlimited call, unlimited text. It's like 20 quid. It's fair play to be the first. Yeah, it's not great, but I mean, not being funny, I could literally have a NASA fucking rocket or a NASA satellite on the end of my arse and sitting in my seat at the den, and I still wouldn't get signal. So,
but I'd hold your seat there, because there is rumours, what I'm hearing, mate, that potentially the Wi-Fi capabilities and the phone signal capabilities at Millwall could potentially be improving.
Absolutely.
So,
I'm not having that. I'm not having that.
no, they could well be, mate. So yes, it's one of those. So
We will soon see, because I mean, that is just when you've got an hacker on and you're sitting in, and I'm sitting in my seat and I'm trying to refresh my hacker whilst and you can't fucking you can't load or get any bar of signal. It's a bit close. But Millwall Mobile is a really, really good thing. It's cheap, it's accessible. There's lots of perks for you on there as well, members and season ticket holders for the club shop. It is a good thing for and they've got family plans. I'm probably going to give it a go just so that I can review it and see what the best thing is, and we can have a look at it on the show and go through it in a little bit more detail. I was going to do that anyway. So it's not going. We're not going to be the last club to do that. We're just first one to make the jump.
We are the first. And I mean, it also makes us look good, doesn't it? I mean, I think that's
it does.
That's the thing, mate.
It ticks a community box as well. That's a massive community box ticker, and we are a community club, so it's a good thing.
We're invested in new strings. Oh, new strings for tin cans. Sorry, I thought you were talking about something else there, but yeah, no. We've definitely got a few of those within our fan base, but yeah. So then let's just we're tapping to it seems as if Danny Mack's coming along well. Obviously, well done on the club for looking after Danny. They know that he's pretty much not going to be back necessarily this season fully. But they brought him in on a new contract and whatnot. So yeah, great. Mate, fucking hell. It looks as if Alex has confirmed Danny is back on the grass doing straight line work after his serious knee injury in January. And they're looking at an estimated return to playing in around 3 to 4 months, which is great. Jensen's still a longer term one. Danish keeper ruptured his Achilles in April, and he's ruled out indefinitely, likely returning in early September to start rehab, because he had to be off it for 3 months, didn't he?
Yeah.
Zach Lovelace also recovering from injury, but is doing runs and technical work on the grass. Though a little bit behind others in pre-season, but it's great news for his reintegration into the side after his permanent return. Is it BB diagnosed with symphysis injury?
It's quite a nasty one as well. He's
and is yet to make his first team. Positive news on Kaman Nagley and Reece William, who are both reportedly taken part fully in training. So yeah, I think it's all good.
I would like to have had maybe 1 or 2 bodies in the door before we go to Spain, but look, we're at the point where last season we went gung ho and signed so many players in the summer and January. This time around we need 1 or 2 starters to come in. The rest is about seeing what we've got in the 21s and the fringe players, to whether they can be the depth fillers. So yeah. I'm expecting movement, but I mean, if anyone's expecting like we did in January, it's not going to happen.
No, I think we're probably maybe 2, 3, 4, something like that. But I don't think we're going to be going fucking 27 or something. And also, those of you out there what are thinking that we're going to score people, we're going to get people like Richard Cohn for £7.5 million. Fucking really? I don't think even with us having money, I don't think we're going to pay.
He's a centre forward as well. We're not going to do
700 that. And what do you call it? So yeah, I fucking had to get rid of that Alfie, mate. His comments were getting more and more fucking strange. Sorry. And he's not Arsenal, so he's not Millwall, so fucking yeah, thanks, but no thanks. Jay, you got any final words, mate?
No, mate. No, look, good show. I've got some football tomorrow to talk about. I am off on my holidays now for 3 weeks. I'm out in Spain, so I will be back.
Are you going to the game?
No, I'm not going to the game. I'm out in Mallorca. I'm going to Mallorca, though. I'm going to their stadium. But yeah, no, it cut a bit too far. And when the dates come out, I looked at the Friday, the 18th one, but it's well, she weren't having none of it. But me and my boy were going to go out there, but then it would have had to take him out of school, and we're already taking him out of school to go to Mallorca anyway, to Alcudia. So
No,
but I would have
you're
done.
not. He's ill. He's ill for the Department of Education. He is ill. No, I looked at Monday, and for some unknown reason, I thought it was an early kickoff, and I looked at there, and then I was like, oh, okay, I'll go.
Friday one is, that's why it's
but I'm thinking, the Friday, but I was looking at the Tuesday or Monday one or whatever. It's the 15th, and went, yeah, we do that, and then it was like, actually, no, because it's like 7 o'clock, and I was looking at flying. Do it in the daytime, and then potentially fly out, so you're not really off work as such.
No, that was
the easiest way to do it. So what's my didn't want to be on YouTube.
He's on. He's on anyway. 1 hour 25 minutes and 10 seconds. He's already on.
What charge did you want? Oh, I don't know where that is.
But it was just too fine for me with me going out to on the family holiday this year, so it was but I'll be at Sutton anyway. Someone said they've got Sutton tickets on sale. I've not seen it. I'll be having a look, but I'll be going Sutton is the day I get back. I'll get back the early hours, and then me and my boy
I like Sutton. Last time we went to Sutton, we sat next to I think it was Thingy Mitchell's dad.
Yeah, I used to work there when I worked at Virgin. I went to the Arsenal game when Sutton played Arsenal, and the goalkeeper got done for eating the pie. But our management got tickets for that, and 15 of us went to that game. Yeah, because I only worked around the corner. But yeah, we're gonna go to that one because season tickets have gone out today. Some people have received their season tickets today. Me and my son haven't received ours yet, but. Imagine when they do, tickets will start going on sale, and it'll be getting closer.
Follow Jay on Twitter. If he hasn't gotten by tomorrow morning, first post, he will be having a meltdown of basically sack the board, bring back Kavanagh, bring back fucking others. We wouldn't have had this behaviours back then and all of that lot.
Yeah. So fuck the process. We're getting relegated. I haven't got my season ticket.
Yeah, and if you don't see Jay again, then it'll be because of the fucking comments he's put in our group chat while we've been on air, which I've just seen. So I'll ruin the little fucker in a minute for that one. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know what he thinks I've done.
Brilliant. How funny.
So thanks for that, Jay. Anyway, as always, thank you very, very much for getting involved and sharing your Friday night with us. We know it's a hot one. Please do like, subscribe, tell your friends, and obviously, if you see us around on social medias, the little clips, etc., then please do share and like and stuff. You only need to click to pretend to share. That helps us out untold amounts. And I am watch next week's show because I've got an idea on something, and I need a little bit more think on it, but it's something to just benefit. No, it's nothing like that. It's something to benefit Millwall fans who run businesses. Stephen Jeffries, congratulations. Obviously, you will be getting it sent out to you soon. You've obviously managed to win one of those limited edition Poppy Cups. KB won the one. Andy Roberts. I don't know how, but Andy Roberts. And is it that Andy Roberts or that Andy Roberts, which is, I suppose, karma. But you've managed, for some unknown reason, you were picked out twice. I've got no idea. The only thing I will say is that I didn't realise that that raffle I'd done for the trust didn't actually go public. So basically, it was there. We're sharing the link. But if you want it to go public, then for the whole auction, it cost you £200. Which I didn't realise. I thought it just went public. So I just thought, it goes public. And then at the end of it, you just do it from there. And then I kept thinking there's not many people doing it. So I kept promoting it and stuff. And then there's a couple of people who, we done a prize for those who retweeted it and whatnot. So, but we've got a few more of those. There's going to be loads of giveaways in the new season. There's going to be new logos. There's probably not necessarily going to be a new theme tune because Johnny, who made that, Sheffield Wednesday lad, sadly took his own life in September. So sort of maybe keep hold of that for certain shows as a tribute to Johnny. But thanks very much. That's Jay. You won't see him until September. And I've been Mickey Simpson. And this is That Mill Podcast. So thanks very much. And we'll see you all again shortly.
Oh, giddy up and get away. Oh, we're going Millwall, and we're going today. Here we go.